Found North with another big release. This is their Helldiver, utilizing whiskeys that are 15 to 23 years old that were aged in sherry, cognac, and new American oak. This one comes in at 119 proof. Mash bill on this one is 85% corn, 14% rye, 1% malted barley. I can tell you, I'm definitely excited to get into this one. I'm always excited to see what Found North has to offer, guys. So without further ado, let's go. All right, so as I stated, this is a high corn content whiskey with 85% corn, again, 14% rye, and just that 1% malted barley. Coming in at 119 proof. Let's get in the nose. This has a really nice, like, lemon and raspberry kind of mixture. Further into the glass, I do bring out a little bit of, like, some milk chocolate. But further away, more of that, like, citrusy, and like fruitiness starts to kind of appear there. Again, it's more of like those red berries and raspberry, a lot of like citrus there on the nose. Further in, again, getting some of that like milk chocolate. It almost reminds me of like, smells like a pie crust, like some chocolate put on some pie crust there further in the glass. Yeah, I mean, as this really starts to open up a little bit more, you're really starting to pull out a lot of different fruits. So, I mean, you're getting like a little bit of like some red apple, a little bit of apricot, but that raspberry lemon mixture really is kind of taking over the nose. Again, further into the glass, that like milk chocolate and like pie crust. It's a beautiful nose on this one. Let's get the palate. Cheers. This is probably one of the oiliest whiskeys I've had so far this year. I mean, this thing is just... It just covers your palate. Super viscous, super oily, very creamy, like texture to it. But then, you know, so a lot of that fruitiness that I was getting on the nose is definitely coming to play there on the front of the palate. Front of the palate is like a berry explosion. Lots of mixed berries, some strawberry, some blackberry. Then onto the center of the palate, I do start to pick up like it's like a little bit of like that graham cracker, or that pie crust that I was getting. Then into the back, that 14% rye is definitely, it gets a little bit spicy there on the like the back strap there of the palate, and into the finish with some like white pepper in there. Actually, it's almost like a mixture of like some white pepper, like a little bit of sharpness from the white pepper, and then like that black pepper kind of finish as it's pulling through. But the viscosity from this is really just pulling those flavors all the way from the front of the palate into the back. It's a really good first sip. Let's get a second one. Second sip actually started to bring forth more of that, like that chocolate. I do get some chocolate there on the front of the palate, with some of those like raspberries, that berry mixture with some of that chocolate there. Then into the center of the palate, again, some of that like that pie crust, graham cracker kind of mixture there. Doesn't really get spicy until it hits the back of the palate and into the finish, and that's kind of where like that mix of like that white and black pepper are kind of like mingling together, bringing back some of those like kind of more delicate fruits from the front of the palate. It's just the oiliness of this is really just kind of dragging the flavors down into the finish on this one. It's a long finish, medium to long, a little bit on that longer side. But just the flavors on this one are just very kind of in your face. There's not a lot of like undertones, and you know, I feel like the finish on this one is really, you know, you're really getting the finish from that cognac and that sherry. Very well kind of pronounced there on the palate. Not getting a lot of caramel or vanilla on this one. I think it's more just like these, it's just, you know, concentrated fruits and like that pie crust and graham cracker, and then that you know, mix of the pepper in the back. It's a beautiful, beautiful whiskey. Let's get a last sip. Cheers. I mean, this whiskey is just, it's ridiculous. So the more that I sip on this, the more dessert forward it starts to become. It's just the flavors are so concentrated, and you're getting all of that cognac and that sherry, those darker fruits. I'm getting plum now sitting across the center of the palate with some of that pie crust, and into the back now, like more of those fruits from the front of the palate, the berry mixture have already started to make their way back into the finish. Outstanding release here by Found North. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. I want to give a big shout out to the team over Found North for supplying me the sample here to review on the channel. Guys, Helldiver, if you see it, it's a must-buy. In my opinion, it is one of the oiliest whiskeys that I have had so far this year. I mean, it may rank up there like in the top 10. It is a very viscous, oily fruit bomb. I mean, you're getting all of that cognac, you're getting all of that sherry. It's not something where it's shy and you're still getting a lot of that corn influence, right? If those finishes weren't in there, you definitely get more of that corn content. But that cognac and that sherry really play a major part in this whiskey, and they're both blended together very well. You're getting little mixtures of both of them. This thing continuously evolves here on the palate. If I can find a bottle of this, I will definitely buy one. If I can find two, I will buy two. Hell of a whiskey here by Found North, guys. So if you're looking for more reviews like this, hit that subscribe button and bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. So find me on Instagram at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. Till next time, guys. Say Dusty.